Most places around the world, camels are not that common of animals, right? This is because most countries do not have large deserts, places where camels prevail with a certain advantage. Because of this, it is natural that we end up ignoring the impressive abilities of the species, which ended up learning to adapt to one of the most inhospitable climates on the planet. In today's video, you will learn about the amazing abilities of camels and how they managed to survive so many complex things, including eating poisonous snakes. But before we start, don't subscribe to forget. Leave a like, a comment, and tag along, because I'm Tiago Tadeo and welcome to the Upside Down. Camels are large land mammals commonly known for their notorious hump. In practice, we have two main species of camels in the world, dromedaries and Bactrian. The species Gigas, Hesternus, Morelli, and Civalensis also existed in the past, but they have now become extinct. Proportionally, dromedaries, marked by their single hump, make up about 90% of all members of the species, making Bactrians a significant minority, just 10%. It's just that in reality, guys, this second group is currently endangered with extinction. This is all about only 1,000 individuals living naturally throughout the world. The rest of this group are protected by our species and will hardly be erased. However, they are already starting to be classified almost as another type of Bactrian, as they are domesticated by a process that has lasted millions of years, since human peoples began to explore the deserts. So, for that reason, we can even say that there are 3 species of camels currently, right? Those that have been domesticated have really powerful abilities, artificially selected on top of all the others that camels already have in their natural evolutionary process. Seriously guys, I'm sure you'll be very impressed if you watch this video until the end, okay? For starters, like us humans, camels are very social animals, and this is a striking feature that is present in both species. Generally, camel bands are composed of groups of about 30 individuals, and among them, there is a main family unit, in which the dominant male is present. An important detail, camels are peaceful that, unlike many species, do not dispute their status through strength, but in reality through the male's ability to produce good offspring. In this way, the most valued are those that make puppies that will survive most often. Kind of like a prize stallion kind of deal, you know? Well, that way, the male ends up being chosen by the amount of adult offspring he has. However guys, despite their sense of community, camels do not travel in groups, being solitary explorers. But despite this, even when they are alone, they have a collection of sound that indicate danger or cries for help in different intensities. That way, if one of them is cornered by predators, the rest of the pack has to turn around and head in other ways. For a long time, it was believed that the function of camel humps was to store liquids, so that they could access them at times when, well, there was no water there at any time, right? But today, we know that although there is water there, it is present in small amounts, since most of what's inside the hump is, do you know what? Fat. With this evolutionary choice, camels are able to store all their body fat in a single point, preventing them from having a coating of fat that in us humans is called adipose tissue, also known as the third layer of our skin. Without the presence of adipose tissue, camels avoid thermal insulation, something that is very welcome by mammals in other parts of the world, especially by animals such as bears, but in the desert it becomes a real source of overheating for the body, and as a result, it also causes dehydration. So it was kind of an evolutionary alternative to isolating fat so they could refrigerate better. So just with the hump, they not only prevent them from being overheated, but also guarantee a reserve of fat, allowing them to spend a few days without finding resources. I imagine it's safe to say that camels are the species that have most adapted to life in the deserts of all the options, right? That's because their bodies have several adaptive elements that allow camels to excel like no one other in this inhospitable climate. For example, guys, their eyes have an adaptation that prevents sand from coming in contact with them, even if it's windy. Something very similar to what human eyebrows do with the sweat of the forehead. Their lips also have a unique ability, being quite thick, which allows them to be able to chew cacti and other prickly foods without them feeling anything from it. It's a pretty absurd thing if you stop to think about it. Since cacti evolved this perfect defense system over millions of years, camels took a bite out of there and they solved the problem. They can eat. With this, they have access to food that other animals could end up dying if they try to eat. Their body has also several reinforced plates, mainly on the knees, chest, and paws that protect their skin from burns that could be caused by hot desert sand. Because of these powerful adaptations, camels became highly prized creatures by humans who were interested in their domestication. In practice, guys, camels are a lot like horses, but built perfectly for desert life. Without them, humanity would probably never have been able to prevail and expand in the desert. Egypt would hardly have grown, and people would have had the Mesopotamian advances that were, of course, essential to the development of present-day human knowledge. So, my dear friends, without the help of camels for commercial relations and exploration, you and I would never be having the opportunity that we are having today and being able to discuss this in a video. Look how amazing, right? So if you are a fan of this channel, leave a comment below thanking the camels. After all, they are very important. I mean, they were and still are. In environments like the desert, the fittest is not the one who is able to obtain the most resources, since the idea of abundance in these places is a very distant dream. So there, the species most adapted to the environment and those that know how to make the most of the little they have, and camels are perfect at doing this with the desert's scarcest resources: water. Their bodies are extremely efficient in water preservation and in obtaining water immediately. First, they are able to regulate their body temperature throughout the day, balancing it with the environment so that they lose as little fluid as possible. This, of course, during those very sunny afternoons that a desert must have. Because I've never been in one, so we can only know by images. Look at this video. Surely it must be. It's hot just looking at it, right? Well, besides when they get access to water, they don't need a lot of time to guarantee hydration for days, since they are able to drink more than 26 gallons of water in less than 10 minutes. Their efficiency doesn't stop at hydration, guys. Since they're on a real steel diet, see? First, they don't choose much. If it's edible, they're throwing it in, even if the food has thorns, as we've already seen in the case of cactus. However, without a doubt, the most bizarre eating habit of the species is its consumption of venomous snakes. There's still a lot of study to be done on this phenomenon there, but this habit is something that has been recognized in them by humans since camels began to be domesticated. Whenever they are sick, camels look for venomous snakes to eat, and their bodies use the substances to treat illness. The most curious thing is that during the process, fluids from the camel's body, especially their tears, end up becoming medicinal. At least that's what the theories say, right? And many people use those for different treatments. In fact, during the process, they feel very thirsty and drink absurd amounts of water, causing them to end up crying a lot too, allowing tears to be collected from this. It is very common for people who travel a lot in the desert to do this ritual with their camels once in a while, that they always have tears with them, at least. That's because if the person is attacked by a snake or scorpion, putting tears on a wound will ease the pain, they say. In addition, the consumption of them would, in theory, help the body to fight poisonous agents. That is, in case the person was intoxicated. Well guys, we already understood that in the animal world, the camels were born with a great deal of things. And leave it here in the comments. Did you already know that camels were capable of all this? I sure didn't know, and I want to know your honest opinion, okay? We'll see each other in the next video. And there are videos every day here on the channel, so activate the bell so you don't miss anything, huh? A hug. Be well, and until next time.